bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ugh. Seattle Space Needle. Da-da-da-da. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Harry. How are you? I'm Crack Picka. You're last, of course. Picture time. Picture time. I'm not as pretty as a picture. I wonder where that expression came from. You look as pretty as a picture. Morning, Ron. Hope you and Gwen are feeling better. I think I'm improved just a little bit. I'm not waking up as many times at night to cough. And my nose isn't running as much as it was. Oh, the vacation pictures. No, I haven't downloaded hardly any of them. Yeah, I sound better if I don't press my voice. I try to talk loud or a long time on one breath, it kind of trips up. So, what's everybody been up to? Here's Tom. Tom.
Good morning.
Can't hear you, Tom. You're muted. Da-da-da. Go Birds. Philadelphia going to win again this week. They play today or tonight. Thursday night football. Hi, Steven.
Can you hear me now?
Haven't been on the show in a while, but hi. Keeping you busy. We're 2-0. How are they already 2-0? Was there a game yesterday? I'll be darned. Well, Tom looks pretty, but we can't hear him.
Can you hear me?
Nope, can't hear you. He gone. Oh, Steven said he heard you. On Amazon last night. What? Why couldn't I hear Tom if everybody else could? That's just weird. Maybe it's me.
Can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you, but everybody in the chat saying they can hear you fine. That's weird. Let me turn off my headset and turn it back on.
While he's doing that, good morning, everybody in the chat. Good morning, Harry. Bumcrack, hope you're doing well today. Lag.
Oh.
Can you hear me now, Todd? Vintage Memories, good to see ya. Steven, good morning.
I didn't have my headset even on. I guess the computer microphone was picking up. I don't know where the computer microphone is.
On your webcam.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Good morning, Phil. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
So we got over our morning technical difficulties.
My fault. My bad. Here I was blaming it on you.
Yeah, that's okay. So are you feeling any better?
Maybe just slightly. I didn't wake up as many times to cough last night as I did the night before. And my nose isn't quite as runny as it has been. Everything's else about the same. Still got the headaches, still got the body aches.
Mm-hmm.
Still feel weak and floppy and...
How about Gwen?
Oh, she's sick.
Is she sick, or how'd she test yesterday?
She tested positive.
Oh, she tested positive too.
Yeah, I gave my wife the COVID.
No, somebody gave you all the COVID on the flight over there. She
Over
just
there. No,
yeah.
it wouldn't have been over there. That was... We spent 3 days at my cousin's house before we even got on the ship. I would have had symptoms earlier if I'd gotten it on the flight over.
Mm. Have you checked with them to see how they're feeling?
Who?
Your cousins that you spent 3 days with.
Oh yeah, they're fine. So, yeah.
Phil, you're not supposed to be it was silver. I started to say you're not supposed to be buying coins off for Temu, expecting them to be full platinum or silver or gold, but you said it turned out to be silver.
How can you think a coin is platinum and it turns out to be silver?
Well, I don't know how to answer that. You'll have to talk to him about that.
Those British people are weird. But they're nice folks.
Yeah, they're used to drinking out of pewter cups and all that kind of stuff. You know, they do that. That's normal for them. So
they got their little silver tea caddy spoons.
Yeah.
I looked up the cartouches on the cartouches. Cartouches. How do you say that? Cartouche.
Cartouche. Cartouche.
I tracked the marks on there. This was made in 1860. You can't see it, but it's got a little bitty picture of Queen Victoria, the young Queen Victoria picture.
Now you're going to price that kind of high because it's got some significant historical value to it.
Well, I won't price it low, but I don't know if you can see in the handle there. I guess the handle is kind of hollow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a little dent right there. I don't think it detracts from the look much, but... And there's several surface scratches. But it's just a beautiful piece. I guess you get your tea bag and put it on the spoon and let it rest in your water. And then squeeze it out on the spoon. I don't know how it works. Is that how it works, Phil? I love selling interesting and beautiful stuff.
Okay, let me interrupt just a second. Maggie, are you being funny? What is Temu? If you're being serious, girl, where the hell have you been?
Teabagging.
Because Temu has been advertised on everything. It's like
Wish.
It's like Wish.
Temu is
Temu.com.
Buy really crummy stuff cheap.
Some of their stuff is pretty good. Don't buy any gold or silver coins or bars or anything like that off of them. But
No.
That's sad, Maggie. I cannot believe. Believe me, Google Timu one time and you'll never stop seeing stuff from them. Not from them, but I'm talking about advertisements and stuff like that. They got some pretty cool stuff in there. We've ordered some.
You're in a hospital bed, Maggie? I thought you were just getting something looked at. I didn't know you were going in hospital. What all did you get done, Maggie? Did you give birth? Sorry, Maggie. That was probably don't feel good, and I'm making jokes.
Yeah, she gave birth, so her youngest child now will be younger than her grandchildren.
I wonder if that's ever happened. It's possible, I guess.
Yeah, I've had friends that their parents have gotten remarried and had kids, and
Well, I saw you that you went to ER, but I didn't know they admitted you into the hospital. Well, I'm sorry. Uh,
they've helicoptered you to Philly. Wow.
Hope you got one of those good plans because I looked on the. If they have to helicopter you off of the cruise ship, it was going to be up to $10,000 if you didn't have insurance. And somebody did get helicoptered off the cruise ship while we were at one of the ports. The ship left like an hour and a half late from one of the ports. But that was all right. Apparently, the person had done okay, and they were in good spirits. When we got a report, when the captain gave us a report on it over the intercom.
Well, I hope you get feeling better, Maggie, or whatever your issue is, that you get it straightened out right now.
Brenda says, "Don't do it. Team use the Chinese government getting all your private information." That's right, Clog. I partied so hard I got COVID.
I'm not worried as much about China as in my own government right at the moment, Brenda.
Pray, they prey on old guys like Tom.
Yeah, lag. He's got to throw his little smart ass remark in there.
Smart ass lag. Cost of the helicopter. Copay on ambulance ride is $200. I wonder what it is on a helicopter.
Oh shit, Maggie.
Temporary global amnesia, which triggered a heart incident.
Can you hear me, Todd?
Yeah,
Oh, you can.
yeah.
Okay. I got to remember if I turn off my mic on my this, it doesn't. It activates the mic on my webcam.
So tell me what global, and I understand what amnesia is, but what's global amnesia? Is that where you think you're on a different world? Global amnesia. In the training brochure, picture of Tom as sucker. Target this time. All right. I'll put the link in the side chat if anybody else wants to come on and chat.
I never heard of that.
She said, I have a complete block of memory from a 6-hour period on Wednesday morning.
Wow. Well,
6
partially
hours.
from eating before doing TV, so.
Could I selectively go back in my life and do that in several places?
That's not.
That'd be wonderful to forget some of the things.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, I've lost my wife for the rest of the day because she just Googled global amnesia and she says it's a thing. I've never heard of it before. So now she'll spend the rest of the day
Learning all about it.
learning all about it.
All right, so you guys from Tom, you especially remind me. You're gonna live this song. This is gonna show my age too. You ever listen much to John Conley, country singer from the '70s and '80s? The big song he had was "Rose-Colored Glasses."
Yeah.
He had this song called "I Don't Remember Loving You," and it is
Right.
one of the funniest. It is a great country song about a story about his wife leaving him after so many years. Have you heard that one?
Right.
And,
No, I haven't heard that.
But he goes insane, so they put him in the insane asylum. He's talking about, they're telling him he's got kids, and she comes to visit, and he goes, he's like, no, you look familiar, but I don't know you. He goes, the line in the song is something to the effect of, if you hand me my crayons, I'll take down your name. That's when I think of that song, I think of you, Tom.
Okay. Well, that's about the case of it.
Yeah, you need. It's I don't remember loving you, John Conley. Y'all need to listen to that song. It is hilarious. Backside of 30. Yeah, I think that's backside of 40.
Well, Roberta has this before her transplant. She has a big memory gap in there. She don't remember stuff we did, things that went on.
There are medical. It's amazing what the drugs and stuff they give you, and they don't tell you. They give you one, and the side effect. You bring out the piece of paper, and it's like an encyclopedia of side effects. So all the time I've known Johnny, I feel like it's all my life. We met. I met Johnny when I was 19, so it's been a long time. I can't remember shit. I can't remember. I mean, I can remember doing things or whatever, but she could tell you down to the day, the whatever, and can remember all these dates and stuff of everything that's happened to us in the last 35 years, except for an 8 to 10 month period when she had chemo and had cancer. Those chemo drugs, it's called chemo brain. And, I was very fortunate to be able to go to every one of her doctor's appointments. And it's a good thing because we get in the car and she would not remember half the shit the doctor told her. And I'm like, this is a real flip flop because you're making me have to listen hard because I never remember. We're counting on my memory to remember stuff, and I can't remember why.
How many recorders do you have that you could just record the doctor?
When is
I've
that?
done that before. I've said, doctor, wait a minute. Let me turn on my let me turn on my video recorder and so that I can make sure I get all this information. And can
all your phones have voice recorders. They're pretty easy to start. If you've got an iPhone, it's basically swipe down to the menu. There's recorders right here, and you can add the new iPhone, which I'm still on the fence about getting. Right now, it's a no, but you can set the side button to launch the voice recorder, and that way, make it very easy for yourself to very forgetful. You can make voice notes and record whatever's in your surroundings.
I need to ask my mother-in-law if she still got her notebook because when Roberta was first diagnosed with having to have a liver transplant, her mother was at every one of the doctor's appointments. And she had a little notebook and she was writing down everything he said in it. So, honey, you can go back and review your mother's notebook.
Okay, that'd be good.
My mom kept journals. Oh God, she wrote everything down.
So she could go back and say, let me tell you something. When you were 12 years old, you got into your uncle's liquor and was throwing up all over my house.
All right, so not all of eBay is eBay's fault. We like to sit around and blame eBay. That folks, the one thing I can tell you is eBay is a participation sport. No matter what they say, oh that stuff doesn't work anymore, listing and I would beg to differ. There is something. Staying in. So last night I'm sitting there. So what I've started doing is my weakness for myself is I will work all day and then I'll go eat dinner and then I'll sit down to do something and I'll never come back out here and finish working. And so I decided, well, I'm gonna start using the second phone and take a bunch of eBay pictures. And then when I sit down in the living room, I can just sit there on the phone while I'm watching. Like last night I was watching football. While I'm watching football, I can sit there. I list like got 25 things listed while I was watching the football game. And so that's been my answer, is just to spend some time taking pictures and then use the phone to list when I'm inside. But the one thing I noticed is between me and Jacob, we had not been promoting any of the last listings. So I think we have 500 listings. 300 of them were not promoted. We had been selling quite a bit. My sales had dropped from an average of $275 a day on eBay to about 90. And so once I noticed that over half the store wasn't promoted, I'm like, well, that makes sense because promoted. And I'm like, wait a minute. I try to keep a sale on because, I don't play the sale game. Like, I don't do it like Dusty used to do. Dusty used to go, if I want to sell it for 100, I'm going to put it 50% off. So I'm going to list it at 200 to get it to 100. I don't play those games. If I was running a 15% or 20% off sale, and it expired by a week and a half, and you can see the promotions and the sale go off, and my sales just crater on eBay. And as soon as I fixed that last night, I've sold 5 things since that point. So a lot. Take a grain of salt. A lot of these people who there's so much more to it than eBay doesn't like the things I list. They're changing a lot of things, but it is still an active. You've got to stay on top of what you're doing. Yeah, it started about. I'm like, I listed a camera yesterday afternoon, and I'm like, I wonder how many views this got. Because I was talking to Harlan about it, and I'm scrolling through the search. I'm 200 deep, and I haven't found my camera. I'm like, I should get a newly listed bump. I should get something. And I went and looked at it. I had 1 view, no promoted, no anything. Let's. So I put it on promoted. Let's see what the views are on that camera. Yeah.
Maggie, Mama had so many notes. She would take notes on the preacher's sermons. And I asked her one time, Mom, what are you going to do with those notes? Are you going to go up after he's through preaching and tell him all the things he said wrong? And she said, no, I would never do that.
Is it in like bound journals or is it just?
Yeah, God, she had spiral notebooks and she had flip spiral notebooks and she had.
So here's the difference, folks.
Her address book had people that were dead 40 years in it.
Dang.
Here's the difference. So last night when I looked at that camera, it had been live for 14 hours. It had 1 view, no watchers. It now has 37 views and 4 watchers. So people can say, don't promote, don't do this, don't do that.
Oh,
there's a significant chance that camera will sell. It's a Canon AE1 program with double lenses and a new flash and manuals. It'll sell in the next 24 to 48 hours. But it's amazing. If you don't, how many people say, you hear them all the time, I'm not going to promote. I'm not giving eBay another dime. I've gone to all this trouble to put all this stuff on their platform and try to sell it on their platform, and they're not showing me in search. So I'm on cross list. I'm not giving them a dime. I'm on cross list. Yeah. Okay.
You threw me there for a minute. I thought you left your cam on your computer running for 24 hours or whatever, 14 hours, and you were doing a live feed out there, and you didn't realize it.
No,
And then you started talking about selling, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's back to the camera.
This camera is beautiful. The bag is extraordinarily clean. This camera is one of the cleaner ones I've ever found. It has all the craziness in it. It's an 81 program. I don't think it has a mark on it. But when I got I got it at the estate sale, and when I pulled out the lens, this lens was still in plastic. This lens was still in plastic when I got it. When I pulled it out, it's another Canon lens. And then this still had its plastic on it too on the inside, but the Canon, the flash, I don't think he ever used the flash. Manuals and everything with the flash. So it's a really nice example of a classic cam. Somebody, let's see what size they are. Somebody bought some of them little bitty panties today. Size large. The little blue ones.
Craig says, Landshark Picker says, cameras don't sell.
So you got to, Brenda, be, right now I'm just promoting at the dynamic rate. But you got to be careful. When I looked at the promotion on one of the items last night, the dynamic rate was 17%. I'm like, holy shit. I'm out at 17%. So I cranked that down, I think 8%, but
Scott does recommended, don't you?
Yeah, most of the time I'm doing recommended +1. Just so remember, for those of you who've played in the Amazon world, I see Shane in the chat. He sold enough Amazon with me. I think eBay has sat back and gone, you know what? Amazon is getting between 25 and 30% fees for selling items. And so that's where the promoted was going that way, because they're thinking, you know what, we can get more money out of the sellers on this platform. Is what that's what I think they did when they brought promoted listings. And so you got a lot of people like me who go, you know what? Okay, so my fees are not 13; they're now 25. I'm used to 25. I bought it at a freaking yard sale or estate sale. I don't have a ton of money into it. That camera, I actually paid up for this one. I paid $70 for that one. But I've got it listed for $200. So, the camera I bought, the one I showed y'all yesterday, I've got $50 in it, and I've got $80 worth of stuff. So the camera is free and clear. So if I have to put it on sale and only get 160 instead of 180 for it, what do I care? You know what I mean? That's pure profit on that camera.
So you're not doing sales, you're doing promotions.
I'm doing both.
Oh, are you doing both?
Amazon fees are 65%. The one thing eBay missed, and it gets discounted a lot for those high Amazon fees. You get FBA service. Look at what look at your cost of sales on an item. Once you add your shipping and promoters and everything in on eBay, and then compare it to what it would happen if you'd have sold an FBA on Amazon. And how much trouble you went through to pack and ship and carry on and do all this stuff, whenever you could have stuck it in a box and sent it to a warehouse, and it would have been seen by 100x more people for the same fees, and you got more money for the item. That's the difference now, folks. Don't forget, I'm gonna make a video about that today. Now that the fees in eBay and Amazon, if you're promoting a dynamic and you're running sales and stuff, your fees are going to be very similar eBay to Amazon, except for on Amazon, you get 100x times the eyes on it because they've got so many more customers and so much more traffic than eBay. I don't think people realize that. They don't understand that if you've never sold on Amazon and you don't really think about it, you don't understand the difference of how many more customers they have. Shane, I told a story somewhere. I think it might have been on the show the other day of the time that you went and taught the class. The 2 times you went and taught the class, and over 90% of the class didn't know what eBay was. That's a problem.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's a freaking problem.
They all looked like they were 19 though, so. Yeah. Well, there's ways to resell without eBay. I know that some people just sell on Facebook Marketplace and do garage sales and flea markets. But
Yeah, there's people here that just sell at the local auction we sell at.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Tom, I sold 680 last night at the auction. Average of $13 a lot last night.
And that's getting consistent. You're between $500 and $800 nearly every week now, huh?
Yeah, so a lot of the people would look at what I do and go, is that really worth? I'm gonna have to go shut that door. They've got one of those damn they're testing helicopters and Ospreys out there right now. The whole damn building is shaking. Is I buy stuff at yard sales, and I send about a third of the stuff I buy at yard sales to the auction, and so each week I will get the check from there, and that's generally what I spend at the auctions at the yard sales the next week. So it looks like you're selling for nothing, but I've got 2/3 of my inventory that's going on eBay versus or Amazon, either one of them, and so it's going. The auction is actually funding all my yard sale purchases, which are.
Wow, it's raining again. It's rained the last 3 days in a row. We went from June 12th to September 11th without hardly any rain, and now it's rained 3 days in a row. It's crazy.
I watched an interesting guy talking about stocks last night on TikTok, and I know you can take that for a grain of salt, but this guy was a professional stock guy, and he was making the point that even though Tesla is trading at whatever times its value it is, he said Tesla is at one of those periods where it is a absolute buy for their stock, because in 2014, 2015, they were making 30, 40, 50,000 cars a year. They're going to push out over 1 million Teslas this year. He said, and that's not the thing. You've got to understand the whole automotive market to understand that for GM and Stellantis, for every EV they sell, they lose money. It means they don't sell a gas car, which they make money on, and they sell an EV, which they lose money on. And this guy is under the impression that he thinks that at some point Tesla will become much more of a software company, even though they will continue to make cars, that all the EVs are going to run on Tesla software. That's one of the strengths. If you've ridden in a Tesla, I know anybody who's got one is their software is pretty solid. People will bitch about their build quality and this and that, but nobody really says anything about their software, because the software in those cars is amazing. And the battery plants and that kind of stuff that are coming online, and he thinks that they're setting themselves up not only to make all these cars and sell their software, but also sell the batteries to these other companies. He is very bullish on Tesla, which I never thought. I just think of Tesla as a car company. I never thought about, well, what if Elon pivots and sells software? He says he believes that Tesla is setting themselves up to become like Microsoft was in the 90s to your computer. That Tesla software is going to be that way to EV vehicles in the U.S.
Is Tesla involved in the UAW strike?
No. They announced that last night. They are striking at 3 plants only. I talked about it Wednesday. They picked one Ford plant, one GM plant, and one Stellantis plant. And their goal is they're gonna strike these 3 plants, until all the parts get starved and they can't, until these auto manufacturers can't make cars, and they're going to force them to lay off the rest of their workers so that the government has to pay them unemployment so that the strike fund lasts longer.
So everybody's going to be driving Mercedes, Volvos, Toyota, anything that's not manufactured in the U.S.
There's these dealers. If you go look on the dealer lots right now, the dealer lots are full. They've got a while to last us out. They've been piling up cars and stuff on the back lots. All the ones here are all full again. Not only have they priced them, they've kept them high artificially for a reason, because they didn't want to not have cars when the strike came. They knew this was coming.
So that still means everybody's going to be driving cars that's made outside the country.
Vast majority of American cars are too. Everybody loves the Bronco Sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pablo and Juan are putting those cars together.
We bought, as I said before, we bought a Mazda because nobody else had any cars. Now we've been very, very, very pleased with the Mazda.
You did very well. That everything about the Mazdas. I mean, they're kind of the. I think they're way better than Nissans. I think behind Honda, Mazda would be the second best Japanese car. Nissans and their transmissions are awful.
Well, Mazda, and this is not sponsored by Mazda. Mazda, you go to the lot, they don't have any stripped down versions of anything out there. Everything's all wheel drive. Everything's dressed to the T. Because I specifically asked our dealer when we were looking, I said, who was the upgrade of Mazda? He said, there is no upgrade. If there should be anything, there should be another brand below Mazda making the cars that doesn't have anything on it. But we've been real happy with it. But the reason we bought the Mazda, we stopped even looked at the Mazdas, was because nobody had any cars on the lot, and you were paying new car prices for used cars. My brother looked at a pickup truck. It had 110,000 miles on it. Now, it was a nice truck. It had 110,000 miles on it. And he said he could go buy a new truck cheaper than he could buy that used truck.
Yeah, that's what Steve said. Remember when Steve's Kia died and he bought another one? It was cheaper to buy the new one than it was to buy a used one.
Yeah.
Joanna, if you think I'm kidding, Google Nissan Jayco transmissions. In 2012 or 13, Nissan bought Jayco out. They were making their transmissions, and from that point forward, it's only the CVT transmissions. Oh my, it's their CVT transmissions. I think they don't use them in trucks and several. They're really big vehicles, but the Sentra, the Altima, I don't think the Maxima has it, but those two bottom cars,
if Mazda will ever make something in the line of not quite as big as a Tahoe, but between like a Tahoe and an Explorer size truck, they will kill it.
So Craig said the Maxima does have the CVT. All right. Yeah, they put CVT. Oh, so they put CVD in the CVT. Right.
So you did how much last night? I'm sorry, I was reading something at the time.
Like 657 or something like that.
Okay.
Did you spend it all on other stuff to bring home?
So here's the amazing thing. Markets are crazy. So about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, somebody put a Wii up there, and it had like 8 or 9 games, and they put on there that it was tested and complete, and that thing went for $140. So I'm like, man, I got Wii's over here, and I got games. I'm gonna put one up there. So I put it up there with a manual and everything, but it was tested, and it was at $47.50 all week. I mean, it shot out the gate at $47.50, and I'm like, all right. And then last night, even up until 10 minutes before mine closed, it was at $47.50. Somebody paid $160 for that
Wow.
we in 9 games, and none of the games were Mario or any of that stuff. They were just regular games. So don't worry, I've already got another one ready to take up there Monday.
So you're just going to keep feeding one at a time through there till you sell them all out, huh?
The same thing as this. I'm going to make a video about this today in just a few minutes. This is another one of the things that's wrong with eBay. So this is a book. I'm going to open it on camera, but it's a quilt book. So I bought a quilt book. I put it up there, and the damn thing went for $40. I found that same book. It's called the Quilt Civil War Diary. It shows you quilts that were made in the Civil War and what each of the patches meant and why the ladies did what they did. They told a story of the South and the War of Northern Aggression, when you Northern assholes come down here and burn the South, you bunch of bastards. Anyway, so they tell the story of the South and the War of Northern Aggression, and I found one for 30 cents at an estate sale the next day. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. That one went for $25. So I'm like, I need another one. Let's buy one on eBay. I paid $5 for this one on eBay. The problem is I bought this on August 31st. They uploaded tracking on August 31st. It got to the post office on September 8th. It came this morning.
Jeez.
For those of y'all playing the home game, it's the 15th. It took 16 days to get this here. And if it takes 16 days from Amazon, they're kicking you off their fucking platform.
What kind of shipper? I mean, that looks like it's vacuum sealed.
It looks like it's there. These people had, and we're not talking about a small seller. We're not talking about somebody who doesn't sell books and doesn't know what they're doing. This company has 1.5 million feedback on eBay. I'm sorry. So it's a machine, Tom. It's just basically two pieces of thick craft paper that are
right
with their name on one side that is vacuum. I think it's just sealed. I don't think it's vacuum packed because
just the way it looks around the edges. That's the reason I was wondering.
Maybe it is vacuum packed somehow, Tom. I don't know. Somebody in the chat tell me. But yeah, but it shouldn't take 16 days. I understand there was a holiday in there, so that was one day out of it. So it should take 15 actual days that were holidays to get an item to a customer.
And for our northern listeners in the audience, Scott's not racist, if that's what you would call the Yankees.
Hey, yeah.
He's still holding a grudge. He wants reparations for the burning of the South.
Y'all started that shit. We were down here minding our own business. You asshole, they call it slavery or whatever they want. Remember that history is written by the winners. And so a lot of the history of the Civil War is shaped by the North. And we did it because they had slaves. No, you did it because you were financially screwing the South by counting slaves as less than a whole person. They couldn't vote. And we were an economic machine down here with cotton and all the materials you need to run a nation. And so you didn't want us to walk away and you lose a vast chunk of the revenue from the plantations and everything. Let's get this straight. Was slavery a problem? Absolutely. Abhorrent. But at the time, it was an accepted practice. I mean, you can't judge. That's the problem. We judge people with today's standards. You were born into that. You didn't have any. But yeah.
Yeah, Scott's going to start his class action suit for reparations from burning the South.
Oh, I'm telling you, you promote your listeners, you sell something. I had 2 0 days. I just sold something else.
Did you now, is Jacob selling on your account or is he on a separate account?
No, he's just listening on mine. So today he's got a fun day because he's got a bunch of so I bought a lot of Lego Bionics. They're all pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to start listing Lego Bionics pieces today.
Oh, I thought you said he's going to have to figure out he don't have to sit down and put them all back together again.
No, this guy had he had sorted them all out, so they're in plastic bags with a number on them or whatever. So it's not that bad. It's just, but Lego Bionicle, start looking up those and the pieces and parts. There's decent money in those. I think I paid $20, and I got one of those big ass tubs of. Hey, what are you flaunting your wealth there, Todd?
What you got?
That bottle of silver polish. If it's the one I'm thinking, if it looks like right silver and copper polish, one of those stupid money on Amazon.
Carol's busting your chops in the chat.
She's busting my ass on Instagram too, so there you go.
Okay.
She decided that everybody needed to get on this thing.
I don't remember what I paid. I've had this bottle for over a year. I sold a cake plate with a sterling silver base.
And you gonna polish it?
It's the this is eBay. It's the copper. If you see the bottle with the copper in the store anywhere, the copper you can't find anymore. It's worth $50 a bottle.
Oh, this
Nice.
is silver.
Let's see what the silver's worth.
I'm gonna say $8.95.
Well, so far I haven't found one. I'm through 2 pages. It looks like it's about $25 a bottle.
$25?
$25.
Cow. That's gone way up in price. They quit making it or something?
There's some. They make the rights in the little plastic tub thing that they don't. The squeeze bottles are much harder to find these days.
They've gone. I know. I didn't pay that much for this.
I did buy 2. I'm trying to decide whether I'm gonna drive up there or not to get them. I bought 2 electronics lot at the auction last night. I paid $12 for one and $15 for the other. But one of them had 2 brand new sets of Bose speaker mounts in it, and a couple other odds and ends. So, trying to decide whether to ride up there or not. I did have so got an item. Y'all take free items if you have to do any work at yard sales. This is a good one. So this guy here is that's an Asus router.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. It is I think it's worth 50 on eBay. It's worth about 80 on Amazon, maybe closer to 100. There was one problem. I'm like, ma'am, you got the power supply? She goes, well, no, it's probably in the house somewhere. But we've all got those big buckets of cords. Who knows where it is? She looked at me and she goes, it's not worth anything to anybody. You can just have it. I said, are you sure? She goes, oh yeah, you can just have it. So $15. I ordered the. It came in with the book at the same time anyway. So I ordered a power supply for it. So it's getting listed here in a few minutes. But yeah, pay attention to these routers. I've been selling them. They sell pretty quick. You got to make. If it's an old one, even if it's new, yes, I sold a G router yesterday. What did I get for? I got $48 or $50 on Amazon for a G router. You know how old that thing is? But it was sealed. I understand what you're doing on Amazon. It was Linksys. If you sell new on Links, if you sell new Linksys or new Belkin, you're gonna get a nasty gram from those companies on eBay or on Amazon. So, sell it as like new. Sell it as like new. Say the packaging is not perfect. It's never been opened. And they don't bother you, because where they get you on Amazon is they say you can't sell this as new. That company does not say they say you're not an authorized retailer, so therefore you can't honor the warranty. Therefore, it's not new according to Amazon standards, because you have Um,
Well, actually, if you're not a reseller, I guess theoretically, if you buy something, even though you buy it off the shelf, and it's not new anymore, it's
yeah,
pre-owned.
that's a wireless G router. That thing is old. I got $33 for it. I paid $2 for it at a yard sale. So there you go.
Cool.
Where's the other? I sold another router too a couple of days ago.
Now, your wife, are you on out in your shop? Do you have a cable that runs out there for your wireless or your internet out there? So you're not
Yeah.
coming off. You're not coming wireless off of the house.
No, when they built this thing,
They wired it.
they pulled power off the breaker in the garage, and so
Mm-hmm.
they dug a trench and dropped the power line in the ground. While it was laying there, I took a Cat 6 cable and it ran it through the attic and down. And you can't put power and Ethernet cables in the same run.
Right.
It's just laid on the ground though, so
Oh, okay.
I figured I got quite a while. But here's another one. I picked this one up for $20 at the local thrift store. It was used. It's another Netgear Nighthawk router. It sold in 12 hours. Paid 20, brought it home, listed it, and got 120 the next morning when I woke up. So look at your routers. All you got, flip them over, look at the model number, list them. They're easy to test. Just like I've got a router sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an Ethernet cable on the back of it. You just plug it in and stick it in the back. It'll pick it all up. You can recognize on your back of your phone. The password on them is right there. And then they're easy to reset. They all have a little, usually have a little button on them somewhere.
Yeah.
As soon as I say that, this one won't have one. Aces, where'd you stick the reset button?
Is anybody in the audience using a mesh system at home? Their Wi-Fi?
If I didn't have it powered out here, I would use a mesh to get out here, but okay, so there it is. I'm sorry. Right there. There's a little button right there. You push it in, it resets it to factory standards by just plugging in and push that button in, and it puts that password back in. If somebody has changed it, it puts that back in it.
It says hot wire until the man that's cutting his grass runs across his cable and cuts it in half.
It's buried.
Oh, is it?
It's buried.
Wraps it around his mower blades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Asus has an IP alert. They only IP on new items. They don't. When they send you the notice in your email or whatever, it says listing as new. They do the same thing as GoPro does. GoPro will send you one from whoever, and it says new products. You must list this as used. So you can sell used just fine. It's not new. You just can't sell new. Stephen, that resets everything. That resets that router, or most all of those things have a button on them. It puts it back to like it came out of the box.
Carol, mesh is a Wi-Fi extender. Usually, it's like you have your main router, and then you got your signal's bad at the back of your house. You take the mesh unit back there.
Or a lot of people do upstairs too, Tom. Where
upstairs.
if you've got a main router on the main floor and it won't get through you can get signal, but it's weak. Basically, it's just a repeater router. It's a repeater system that they all, because the problem, I sold a repeater I sold one of those Wi-Fi extenders today. I got to ship it out today. I got like $20 for it, but the problem with those is when you plug them into the wall and it picks up the Wi-Fi, it creates a new network. So say that I name my wireless network Bearded Picker is great. We get to the back of the house and using the extension, it'll say Bearded Picker is great _EXT because it adds an extension. So you're not technically on the same network. The mesh all go together. So
Right.
Bearded Picker is great. Would be Bearded Picker is great. All of them. Basically, it amplifies the signal all throughout the area. Mesh routers are designed to cover, I think, up to about 5,000 square feet, Tom. They cover so that on one side of the house, because that's the problem we have inside. Why I'm wired out here is the cable comes in one side of the house and the router's on the other side. So Jacob's into the house, the signal's weak. Even though I've got a strong router, it's and a strong Wi-Fi, it's weak.
Right.
So it would be nice because it has all those walls to go through.
The mesh system too. If you've got multiple mesh units, like you got your base that's hooked to your main router, if you have like 2 other units in the house, first of all, the signal is there's one signal that is talking between the mesh units. That it's on its own frequency and whatnot, from what I've been told, and then there's the actual Wi-Fi. So if you have, apparently they're all talking between each other, and it boosts like if the signal downstairs is better than the system, the unit upstairs, it won't send it from the signal from the main unit. It sends it from the closest one. Does that make any sense? And I'm doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like said, his wireless is named Todd is cheap.
Yeah, cheap. Okay, so everybody just start up in Philadelphia. Just start riding around until you find a signal that says Todd is cheap, and then you can, then you know you're close to Lake's house.
Harlan chimes in. He thought the back of the house it was going to change it. The Bearded Picker is not so great. Yeah.
So anyway, they're supposed to be a lot better than the traditional Wi-Fi extenders, because the signal going back and between the house, I mean between the main unit and the remote, is a different type of signal that's supposed to go through walls and electrical systems and plumbings, which is what the problem is.
And that would be the problem here, trying to get wireless out here, is because, the exterior especially has trouble. What's a good word? Has trouble penetrating a brick wall.
Yeah.
So, to get through, it's in the inside of the house. It would have 2 interior walls and then the brick wall. And then this building, a lot of people too, mother especially, when she put on a metal roof on her house, Wi-Fi does not, it hates that metal roof. So she's got one of those mesh systems. So she actually did the opposite of what I did. She asked me about that, and because she has a building out in the back of her house that she wanted to get internet out there, and that it would have been a 40-foot trench or whatever it would have been to run. And she's like, "What if I get one of these mesh systems? Would that work?" And that's what she uses it for, and it does what it's supposed to. It picks up it comes out enough into the yard and the one out in the yard enough so they meet together to magnify the strength out back.
Has anybody ever used any of the ones that you plug into your electrical system?
I have not, but I can't imagine. That's got to have a lot of interference in it, you would think.
I would think so too. You all right there, Todd?
Gwen doesn't think so, but yeah.
Well,
does she ever think so?
No.
She thought so. When she started thinking that you were not so great, when she said, "I do." That's about what I can tell. When Joni said, "I do," I think everything was downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean to take over your show, but
Well, he wasn't there, so somebody's got to talk.
Well, and also too, he's sounded kind of rough this morning.
I'm still on the COVID. Yeah.
Do you feel any better?
Couple of things are better. I'm not coughing quite as much, and my nose quit running as hard as it was. But everything else is just achy and headache, and stuffy nose and ugh.
Glock, he came back from the cruise with it. He's been sick ever since he got back. So he's probably infected everybody on the cruise ship, on the airline,
Yeah.
airport terminals.
Yeah, my nose started running real bad on Saturday. So this is my 7th day.
Just rest up. Try to sleep with your head up.
You're full of bull, Tom. I can't sleep with my head up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Joanna's right. A lot of people had a lot of success with vitamin C and quercetin.
vitamin C and quercetin.
Quercetin. I don't think that's the proper spelling, but it's close.
What is it? I mean, what's that supposed to be?
It's very similar to hydrochloroquine. But nobody, you can buy it all day and nobody bothers you.
Yep, Joanna. There's supposed to be another outbreak coming. So
Yeah, just the outbreak. They're just calling it elections.
yeah,
That,
quercetin.
Cha-ching.
I told you, man. You start promoting and put it on sale. I sold something else. I hadn't sold. I'm telling you, my sales flatlined. I mean, I went from $275 a day to nothing. I mean, let's read you these days that I had. These are awesome, by the way.
So what happens when everybody goes to promote it?
So let's see. I had a day that was 542, and then I had 383. The trouble started 98, 29, 78. I had a reprieve at 165, 45, 94, 165. But that's got last night on it when I started listening again, and I'm already up to 90 today. I had other days of 109, 130. 35. It's terrible when you go back. You're counting on going back to eBay, and then all of a sudden eBay goes, yeah. And it's easy to be mad, and you get caught up in. I understand Josh Galt's having a lot of problems, and I'm with him. I agree. A lot of stuff is eBay, but make sure eliminate the fact that if you're using all their systems, eliminate yourself. Because I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people see that their sales slow down and they go, it's easy to go, it's fucking eBay. It's the eBay's fault. And not look around and go, well, you put a 30-day sale on, dummy. All your prices just went up 18% or whatever it is. Oh, wait a minute. You've been listing for 2 weeks and haven't promoted not a drop, and you had noticed on your store that your promoted listings were selling about 75% of your items were promoted, and all of a sudden of your sales, and all of a sudden you're not promoting anymore. Yeah, I eliminate you from the equation.
What is the rate that people are using for promoting? Are they using like Base Plus?
It's all over the board. A lot of people are using Base Plus. A lot of people are using, the bottom at 2, 3, 5. There's all kinds of theories about what people are using.
I'm doing 5.1%, and it's working pretty good, I think.
1.5?
You can't hear, can you? 5.1.
Oh, 5.1. Okay, my dyslexia is kicking in.
Tim, I'm disappointed in you, Tim. Tim says that Scott is an eBay apologist. Obviously, you did not watch Wednesday's show because I railed on eBay for about 20 minutes straight without breathing. You obviously watched Wednesday's show when I really got on a roll about talking about eBay and how, instead of squeezing the seller for every dime, imagine if they if they reached out to the younger generations, a generation that is more concerned about experiences and environments and eco-friendly and that kind of stuff. And you've got a platform that is specialized in, upcycle, use, recycle, because eBay was known as. Somebody asked me this question on the phone the other night, and it used to be kind of an insult, but it was very descriptive, and you don't hear it anymore, and it's a problem now. Remember when eBay used to be called, referred to as Fleabay?
Yeah.
The flea market of the internet?
Yeah.
You don't hear that anymore because eBay's trying to be Amazon, and they're never going to be Amazon.
Lag, you're only doing 5.2% now. I thought you were doing 99.5% at one point.
That was back when Lag used to lie a lot.
So Steven says he's doing 5 to 13 plus 1. I'm doing dynamic plus 1 with a cap of 15. Except for all the new stuff that I listed, and I'm just doing dynamic because I'll start about every 2 weeks. I've got it in my calendar now. The calendar's going to come up and say restart promoted. And the reason why I want to restart promoted every 2 weeks is everything that I started listing last night is just a dynamic. So there's not the plus 1. So after 2 weeks, I want it to be more aggressive. And so I'll add it to everything else that's aggressive. So
dynamic, what is the dynamic? Is that what the just whatever
dynamic is just the average, whatever the average, because it's a right now, if you've got 100 people promoting at 10%, tomorrow those 100 people might be promoting at 11, and so it'll keep it at that whatever the average rate which for a lot of people who don't trust eBay to begin with, we're trusting them to calculate a dynamic rate and tell us that actually is what it is. At some point, there's probably going to be a lawsuit down the road that eBay way overcharged on promoted dynamic fees because they don't show you how they calculate the dynamic, and there's going to be some insider come out and say, that was all a scam. The dynamic rate really should have been 4 or 5% because eBay sellers are cheap, but they got an extra 5% from the bottom line.
Just wait for your class action suit letter coming in the mail. Did you sell on eBay between such and such and such and such?
Craig, that is correct. He said it's category based, not item based. I think it's a combination of both, Craig, because last night I listed like 12 cameras last night, and how do you listen to camera and it'd say 11.1, 11.1, and then one of the cameras came up at like 16.3. I'm like, man, you're on crack. We're not doing 16.3. But the cameras, some of them were 13, so all the cameras were not the same. They were all nearly the same category. So it might be subcategory. You said category. You didn't say anything about subcategories.
Yeah.
I think they drill it down to as far as subcategory, I think. Because some of the cameras were digital, some were film cameras.
How did the 110 do? Did you ever list it?
What 110?
You had a 110 camera that you showed.
Oh, that little bitty one, that little pin. I listed it last night. It's really cool. I think I listed it for 65 plus shipping. And that's the other thing too. I want to go 2 weeks of items. So when I reset every 2 weeks, when I reset the promotions, I'm also going to reset the sale every 2 weeks. So that way, most items that are up new won't be on sale at least a few days to see. And then once they don't sell, so will some make it 2 weeks and the others will go 3 days? It's just, there's no easier way to do it. You can only do so much. The more complicated you make it. Lag was doing 29%, but he's only got to do 5.2 to beat Todd. That's winning right there. Not only did Scott, I've sold cameras. You'd be shocked, man, if you looked at my eBay store, Tim, how many cameras I've listed.
Yeah, you've been listing a lot recently.
I sold I
cameras.
listed one and sold one. I listed it, and about 30 minutes later, it sold. I'm like, well, that's awesome. Most people would say, did you list it too low? Did you do this? I'm like, oh, hell no. My sales have sucked for a week. I'm glad it sold.
Carol keeps her electronics so long they become old school. I bet.
Yeah, so I sold that film camera there. I got 45 plus shipping, so 45 plus 8.
I bet Carol's
that's
so
the
old,
one I
she's
listed.
more
It sold
valuable.
$78. That one I listed last night and sold last night. But all this router stuff, there's that little $13 range extender. It was in a box of shit I bought. I bought it like I did last night. I bought an electronics lot. It had that in it, and it had this in it, the Netgear. So I got $30 for that. I paid 15 or 14 for that whole lot. So I sold 2 items. That's the second one of those PLP 2000s I've sold. There were 4 of them in that box. So I showed you that coffee maker a couple weeks ago. It just sold for 45 plus 14 shipping. That new in the box coffee maker.
Carol, Lag has to do something. Lag has to do something because he's got those 4 children he has to keep fed and clothed.
Lag said you're not going to believe it, but it's mostly all true. But when you say that, it can all be true because one day you say you're with the young generation and then like you've done this morning, and then the next show you'll talk about your Tom's age. So, if you say them all, you're gonna be right at some point.
First of all, he's trying to be like he's at times he's a 16-year-old boy homeschooled living in his mother's basement, but in reality he's a 45-year-old mother of 4 whose husband is an electrician in Philadelphia.
So he has said that he lives in his mom's basement. He's also on Josh's channel said he lives in his father's basement. And he's outside of Philadelphia, but in that show he said he actually lived in New Jersey, north of Philadelphia. So if you cover everything, okay, so stretch the truth. You live in your mom's basement. Maybe that was 20 years ago, but you did.
Like you got to get you a whiteboard and put it up there in front of your computer and start writing down all your lies on it so you can keep up with it.
On one side, you might want to put the truth to remind yourself who you are and what you are. On the other side, the lies. Oh yeah, that's right. His brother's attic. It was the attic, not the basement. The dad's attic.
And Lag, if you are a 16-year-old boy living in your mother's basement, you need to get the hell off the computer and do your homeschooling.
And I wonder what he really means by his mom's basement. I wonder if his mom is like some big tattooed man who he refers to as mom.
That'd be his daddy.
That he's on parole, and that's the parole of his mom and some big dude.
And
they met in prison.
For most people, especially the Southerners, because we don't have basements down here.
Very, very rare.
Very rare. And if we do, they're usually walkout basements. But anyway, so most of us, we think of it as like a dingy, concrete wall, a cinder block wall with the plumbing exposed.
Like my grandparents had, where you walk down in that area, it feels like you're in a cave, and it's got dirt and brick walls and a dirt floor, and there's a freezer down there, and it smells like.
He's in the Philadelphia area, so that basement could be 2,000 square feet with a full kitchen, a bathroom with a jacuzzi in it.
I bet you Lag's mom looks like that guy in Animal House where he comes up and says, "May we dance with your dates?" You remember that scene when they
I've never watched Animal House.
Take a road trip. You've never watched Animal House?
No, I'm not really a big John Belushi fan.
See, I think more Lag as being on the 80s movie Revenge of the Nerds, Booger.
Yeah.
I think more Lag being Booger, when they're having the nerds were having the ball, Booger comes up and goes, He's been looking for a date to the ball. He's been coming to elementary schools all day.
Oh, y'all are sad people. Okay, I got to get out of here. The boss lady's got to get on the call.
You knew that time was coming.
Yeah, she.
All right, I gotta pack my 4 items.
Yeah, and you need to pack your items and lay down, rest.
I have 8 to ship on eBay. I'm excited.
I took my packages to the post office yesterday, and I called them and said, "Can I drop these off on the dock outside?" And instead of telling them I had COVID was the reason, I said, "I twisted my ankle and I can't get up the steps in the front of the post office."
Well,
So
you
they
know,
said, "Sure."
Did you go kill Did you go kill the biddies yesterday?
No, I gave him a break from. This is. We were gone on the trip, and then this week, man, I bet they're missing me. I bet they're like lovesick.
their cells have probably been in the toilet.
Yeah, you definitely did well because they're gonna be hugging your neck and carrying on like you're Cary Grant or something next week.
Because they haven't had any sweet loving now in about 3 weeks. Todd, you need to take a picture of your girlfriends down there and show it to us.
Yeah, Gwen is sick as a dog.
Yeah, Tim, she is sick too.
Well, y'all take
We're
care of
both
each other.
just miserable. Just
So not just regular miserable, but sick miserable.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Not married miserable, sick miserable. All right, I got to go, guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Todd, there's nothing I can do for you because I'm so far away. But if I can send you some soup or something, I can have it DoorDash and leave it on the front porch.
No, I've actually lost a couple of pounds since being on COVID because nothing tastes good. I mean, just you're only eating because you don't want to starve. You know. It's
How many pounds did you gain on the cruise?
Probably 50. I stepped on the scales yesterday, and it's like I didn't gain any weight on the cruise because I'm below what I was before I went on the cruise.
I thought you were going to tell us what Carol's scale says. Only one person, not 2.
Damn. You don't know. She might be married to the mob up there where she lives at. She might get on their plane and come down there and hunt you up.
You forget I've met her in person like 2 times. Nobody's gonna put up with Carol.
You say she would be the godmother of the mob because everybody's afraid of her. All right, y'all have a great weekend.
I like Phil's recipe there: chicken soup and bourbon. Together, or just have some soup and some bourbon?
Yeah, have a glass of bourbon on the side. If you can start getting a bad cough, which you do, get you a little bourbon and a little honey and
it's honey.
go to bed.
Bourbon and honey or something.
Yeah, and go to bed. All right, guys. Bye.
Lag said his mom can bring up a breaming casserole.
Oh, yeah. Bye, guys.
All right.
Dang. What else is going on? Nothing.
Not much.
So
I'm listening to these today. They're not in the greatest shape, but they should still do. They're over here because I got to test them. These are the better looking ones. What do you do to speakers whenever you knock the covers off? They lived a little bit of a rough life with them, but they were in another box of electronics lot. I think I paid up for these. I think I paid $20 for this lot.
Broke the covers.
Yeah, they were really dirty. I cleaned them up. So these are the ones that need they have special cables, and the cables are with them too. And so I've got to do some research to sell whether the cables are better, because Bose. If you sell Bose, Bose cables actually are pretty expensive when you resell them.
Yeah,
I've got to list both of them. They're both They're both dead, so they're going for parts. One of them's worth 50. I think the other one's about 100 for parts.
What do you call it when spare parts or something are only for that thing? Priority or I don't know.
Yeah, these go through a lifestyle system, Craig. I've got an eBay. I found them on. These are harder to find, the ones with these little guys on it. So, which I kind of like them instead of the ones that screw in or all that stuff, because you just push the button in and push the wires in it, and it holds the wires. That's a good concept.
There you go, John. Proprietary. John just got my dictionary right there handy. All right. Yeah, I guess go pack my little crap.
Yeah, I think I've got like 18 to ship, so let's go play fun.
All right. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday back here.
Everybody have a Merry Christmas, except Carol. She lives in the north. She needs to repent for her ancestors.
Yeah, that damn Yankees.
Damn Yankees.
Bye.